Alright, let's continue. So like I said, I'll be focusing on the head always. Keep shaping them and using my move tool over here, just giving a little bit shape out of it. And a little bit smoothness over here. So in Velociraptor, you will see like a smile onto this raptor. They are kind of smiling at you. So it's pretty scary, you know. And the, you know, raptor is kind of looking at you and smiling at you. It sounds scary. But yeah, that's the way it is. So this bone is quite a big in front of the eye, so I want to make sure it's coming out nicely. Now notice I'm not following the reference now anymore because we are kind of not sticking with the reference, but kind of a knowledge that we have, and that's what we're going to follow it. I want to make sure this comes out nicely and smoothly. Okay, great. However, we still need to add the jawline, uh, for the area, the gum area and the teeth. And let's do that. So how we're going to do this is, in this way we're going to use a new technique. So I'm going to hit the B key and we'll come on to the IMM basics, and these are some primitives that we can use, for example like polysphere. And now what I can do is if I just go inside a little bit, maybe close enough, there we go. And if I click and drag out, there will be a sphere and everything will become mask. Now what I'm going to do is I'll go to subtool and just click on split mask, so that sphere has been now split. I'm going to use my move tool and hold down Alt and click on this circle to reset to transform, and I can move it over here. There we go. I'm just going to scale it out. Okay, maybe just giving some rotation, and again scale it out in the x-axis. So I'm making the tongue right now. Again, use my move tool. Now if it's hard to see, you can turn on the transparent. It's more like a transparent object, and you can do this quickly. Let's go the down and just get it out like that. Give me a little tongue shape over here. There we go. I won't just go too much right now. Just wanted to give a little bit shape like that. There we go. So that was the first step. Now what I'm going to do is I think yeah, it looks good. So maybe I can do a duplicate of this tongue, and let's bring this up, hit the W key, bring a little bit up, and I'm going to hit the S for the solo, and I'm going to way too much push it out. Now I know it's look very weird and everything is kind of a messed up, that's okay. Just keep doing it a little bit smoothly. This goes up like that. There we go. And then I will just jump into the Dynamesh, make sure its Dynamesh is on, and I'm going to try with the low resolution like 128 and just re-Dynamesh. There we go. Just smooth it out, holding on shift. There we go. Hit the S and just bring it out like that. There we go. Hit the W to rotate and I'm putting some gums over here. There we go. Now I like to keep them in separate because later on I can add the teeth. But if you like, you can combine them once it's done. But for in my scenario, I'll just keep them separate, just for right now. Great. Now we're going to create a duplicate and hit W key. Just rotate them. Put it the upside over here. Maybe just a little bit smoothing over here. There we go. Turn off the transparency. Looks good. Just a little bit with the move tool. Okay, great. Now there's a side corner that covers the part of the mouth, so I'm going to create that as well. So with that, I'm going to append a sphere, just a simple sphere. Hit the W key, and in order to make it into center, whoops, make sure the sphere is selected. It's important. Let's scale them into x-axis. Scale it from the center and move it on the left or right, whatever you like. I'm just giving a little bit shape. There we go. Let's move it over here using my move tool. Whoops. Keeping my move tool over here like that. And keeping my reference side by side as well. Just push it in like that. Okay, it doesn't need to be exact, but just cover the part over there. There we go. Let's push it in. There we go. Just smooth it out. And if you want, just make sure we go to geometry and Dynamesh. Just re-Dynamesh. Push it out a little bit. Go. Right. I'm not going to combine them yet because first we're just making sure everything looks perfectly and nicely comes out. So I'm just smoothing it out, and again you can turn on the transparent if you want. You can hold down shift and smooth it out like that. There we go. But I guess I'm happy with that. There we go. Maybe a little bit more smoothness. And we can do a mirror weld. Let's go to the modify topology, mirror and weld. Great. And make sure our symmetry is on, so hit the X. Just smooth it out like that. Right, looks fine. So let's add the teeth now. And for the teeth, what we're going to do is let's append another subtool. So we have a lot of subtools over here. So let's go to the append and let's add another sphere. So there's going to be a lot of sphere. Okay, so I'm gonna move this sphere in front of the mouth and just scale it down. There we go. We scale them up in the y-axis. And now if you hold on Control Shift and go to this section and you click over here, you can see the clip curve. Once you click on this button, then you can hold on Control Shift and drag to clip this area. So I'm holding down spacebar to move this area, and if I let it go, it goes away. Now it works like this. If you hold down Control Shift, this brush will come, and if you drag it out, you can see there's a line going on. And if you hold down spacebar, you can move this line. Now, if you see this gray section, gradient section, that's the part where it's going to clip the area. So for example, like this, as you can see. And if you cut it like this, you can see it's the backside. There we go. So with this, if you just drag it out and hold on Alt, or just tap it the Alt, you can make a curve over here. But if you double tap, you can make a quite a steep curve over here, and you can cut it like that. However, in this scenario, we'll just drag it out and make a cut like that, and then hit the W and scale it in, skin it in like that. And again, going to the move tool, maybe we can re-dynamish. There we go. And hold down Shift to make it smooth a little bit. I can hit the X key for symmetry. So I'm just making a teeth shape over here. Make sure it's not too much pointy. Can be problematic with the dynamish. Over here it should be a little bit rounded so we can sculpt properly. Almost giving a like a curved shape. A little bit forward. And maybe smooth it out a little bit. There we go. Looks like a teeth. Hit the F key to make it frame. And scale it more down. Maybe a little bit long. There we go. Let's push it in here. So I'm just checking the size over here. Great. A little bit thin. And there we go. I think I'm happy with that. Great. All right. So just for backup, I'm just going to make a duplicate over here. And I'm going to turn off this eye so it's not going to be visible. And now we need to align them over here, right? But I think before that, let's complete the jaw over here. So we have some shape to put the teeth over there. So we have some, some base over there. So let's go up and select the gums, the downside. Let's hit the W and smooth it out. Just create some area. And I'm going to first switch to the face and make sure the shape is coming out nicely. Sure there is no perspective. And make sure they are aligned properly over here. I want to keep it a straight line over here. Just giving some space over here. Hit the S key and switch to clay buildup. Just adding some volume, muscles. And I will be doing push and pull a lot. So just push out, and then maybe smooth it out, and then a little bit smoothing, pushing in. So don't focus on just specific one area. Now keep sculpting in all the other ways as well, so you have understanding how it's going to look like. Make things easy. This jawline will comes out a little bit. Just pushing out a little bit. There we go. And again, like I said, checking from every angle gives you the advantage how it's going to look in the 3D. A little bit smooth out. Now, if it's a little bit hard to sculpt over here, what you can do is hold on Control Shift, and we're not going to use clip curve anymore. So I'm going to switch to select lasso, and then Control Shift and make a selection, and everything will be isolated. Then you can focus over here to sculpt. Just giving a little bit shape out of it, like that. Going to push it inside of it. Now, if you want it back, you can hold on Control Shift and tap. Everything comes back. Make sure on the anterior, not over here. So, for example, if you make the selection, Control Shift and tap it on this side, so Control Shift and tap, it will be goes away because of the polygroups. So it's a nature. So if I hold on Control Shift and tap, it will be gone, and this will be remain because of the polygroups. So again, like that. But if you want to make it come back all over here, just click on the anterior, Control Shift and tap. It will come back. Hit the Shift F to turn off the wireframe. There we go. And finding a good shape. Make sure it's going with the flow of the mouth as well. So I'll be pushing down a little bit. Hit F. So I need a little bit bump over here. Just push it in. I believe it's way too high. Can push it in and smooth it out. Again, switching to trim dynamic to make things flat. And I will be going in between the brushes, adding the clay buildup right now, just to make it a little bit more rounded here. Smooth it out. Something weird's happened. Smooth it out. I don't like the nose, the way it's coming out, so I wanted to make it kind of, it looks dangerous. Still look nice to me. So I'm looking the feature over here to make things a little bit more dangerous. And if you want to make something dangerous, you want to also consider about spiky things and um, things that makes not too much curves in it, but make things a little bit more spiky in it. I'm going to play with the eye placement a little bit backwards, so I'm going to turn off my perspective just a little bit back, maybe a little bit big. Oops, make sure I'm on the clay build up and just keep adding it. So things get rounded so it become cute. So you always check how the character is looking. I'm going to switch the eyes, and I think I will just push just a little bit backward. Make sure the symmetry is on. So again, push just a little bit. Hold down Alt and tap onto the surface and it will be selected. I want to make sure the eye is rounded. Switching to dim standard. I think it's too high. Let's push it a little bit down. Oops. accidents happen, but undo is always there. Let's keep adding over here. I think I'll just make it combination over here like that. However, there is a division over here, but just make sure it's slightly fixed up. That. Okay. Okay, let's come to the teeth, and let's see what we can do with the teeth. So you can do is just move it back and make sure the symmetry is off, and just move it a little bit back and put it over here. And then we can go to the array, and this is something new. So how we actually going to use this is basically we're going to make copies of the teeth, and we're going to have much control on these copies. So if I click on array mesh, this will activate, and we can offset them, and these are the values where we want to offset them. We can offset on the X, Y, or the Z. So if I click and drag in the Z axis, you can see there's a copy is coming out. So I'm going to hit at the S so we can focus only on the teeth. So you can see it's coming out in the Z axis. You can also move it on the Y axis. Now you can decide the number of copies from over here by repeat. You can even scale them in, let's say, the Y axis, the X axis, and the Z axis. You can even rotate them on the X, Y, and Z. And the pivot mode is actually the center of the object. You can see the pivot is over here right now, but we can change, or maybe we can shift the pivot on the temporary basis to make a change over here. So you can see if I shift that pivot, see how it shifted, and the effect other objects as well. So I'm just going to make them 0 everything. Select, tab, tab. Okay, not the scale actually. I'm going to keep the scale 1. I'm going to keep it equal, but let's keep them 0 and 0. There we go. So everything is back to default, but here's one more thing that we can do. Right now we are using the Gizmo 3D, but if I click on this button, this will deactivate the Gizmo 3D, and this will give me this manipulator. Now this manipulator is legacy in Zbrush. It was old, I mean we still used it, and Gizmo 3D is new to Zbrush. I think it's on 2019, I guess. So when I turn it off, I get this manipulator over here, and I can move this anywhere from this circle. I can select this and make a clip. You can see it's kind of a clipping, like we're kind of cutting the half from this cursor. And if I scale, actually it's moving, but it's kind of a scaling its behavior. So you have to do a little bit practice with this just to get used to it. But in here, the move, scale, and rotate are different, not like the gizmo. So for example, if I come to the scale and click and drag, you can see now we are scaling actually. If I go to rotate And we are actually making the rotation. Let's rotate from over here. There we go. Cool. Now, what I want to do is make the copies with this gizmo. So in order to do this, I need to click on this transpose button. Once I do that, I get this repeat and the stage. So I can make the repeat out of it. So let's click on the move and move it. And you can see we are having some teeth over here. And we can adjust the repeats from over here. Or you can change the repeat from over here as well if you want. So let's say, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I guess. Will be fine. Let's keep it 10. So I just check the reference and the 10 teeth will be fine. Now there's a little bit offset there you can see. And that's why we're going to use this offset. So I'm going to click on the x-axis since we're going to focus on the x. This is my x. So let's click on this graph. And if I click and drag, you can see how it's shifting by this graph. So we can make some adjustments over here. Let's click over here onto this point. And if it's hard to see what's going on and this kind of giving you a clutter, what you can do is go to the subtool and hold down shift and click on it. So everything will be hidden. But I need the gum. So let's turn on this to follow them. So let's go to the again array. Make some adjustment with this. There we go. Let's come to the last point and make some adjustment over there. There we go. Just a little bit. So just minor tweaking. So this circle is actually the radius, how far the effect will be go on. So I can make this radius small and just make another point over here to keep things nice. It's kind of at this curve over here. And let's turn on everything. Let's go to the subtool. And again, if I hold on shift and click, everything is turned off. That's completely fine. But if I hold on shift and click again, everything's turned on. And you can see how it's coming out. Let's play with the scale as well. So let's come to the array and let's go to the scale. And in the y-axis, I'm going to make a little bit shift in it. Seems like nothing much is happening. And let me try with the amount. Going to make some a little bit amount change. And actually it's kind of a happening, but it's hidden inside of this mesh, so that's why we can't see it much. But yeah, so I'm going to hit S to see how the changes are behaving. So you can see maybe some are big in the end, some are small. Hit the S, and there we go. Just to see, hit the Q. Looks fine. Now don't worry about it. This is also a blocking. Later on, we can move them individually if we want to make a little bit tweaks out of it. But for right now, keep as a block. Always keep remember when you are doing something, anything that you start with a blocking and then later on do some minor tweaking to fix those things. So it looks good. So in order to apply this, what I have to do is accept this. So if you scroll down all the way, and we need to make them as a mesh because still they are in the array mode. They are not a mesh. These are the copies. So I'm going to click on the make mesh, and there we go. Now you can see these options are grayed out. And if we go to subtool, we have the set of the teeth. We can make a duplicate and make a mirror. Let's go to the modify topology, mirror and weld, and there we go. We have the both side copies and we are good to go. Again, things are blocked. This is called medium blocking right now. That's we are doing right now. And the medium blocking, a lot of change comes out, a lot of tweaks needs to be done. But that's how we're going to build up layer by layer, fixing all those things layer by layer. And this is really a good strategy to fix all your, uh, focusing on the problem at a certain point. So first we saw the bigger problems, then we coming into the medium problems, and then later on we will come into the small problems. That's how you want to do it layer by layer. So we will keep this continue on the next video.